Hey everyone, this is KaiKaiW, and today I'm going to be talking to you about something that approximately 0.00001% of you are actually going to care about, but something that's so important to me that I had to make a video on it. So, if you've read the title, then you obviously know what this is about, but I want to give you a little bit of a backstory on it. So, I've had this debate with one of my friends for about 6 months now, probably, over whether or not Falling Skies or The Walking Dead is a better TV series. Now, chances are, a lot of you have seen The Walking Dead. Not so many of you have seen Falling Skies. So, a lot of you are probably going to default to Falling Skies. But if you can't tell by my current attire and the video game that I'm currently holding, Falling Skies is totally better. In this video, I'm going to just kind of talk about my ideas about why Falling Skies is better, and also a little bit, why maybe The Walking Dead is better in some ways. And I'm going to address a lot of my friends' arguments, so I'm hoping that this will finally win the debate. All right. So, for starters, the enemies. In The Walking Dead, I'm sure you all know, we've got zombies. In Falling Skies, we have aliens. Now, my first argument, I guess, is that the enemies in Falling Skies are so much better and so much harder to fight than the zombies are. So, one of your first responses is probably, well, zombies can turn people into zombies, so therefore they're worse. So can the aliens. The aliens capture children and place harnesses on their backs that turn them into basically alien slaves, and if they're left there too long, then they'll become like alien wild animals, especially if they're exposed to radiation. I feel bad for Scott. That was a Falling Skies reference, by the way. And they're so much better. I mean, here's one thing that I think I would like to point out. It takes a whole horde of zombies to push a chain link fence over. Like, seriously. That same chain link fence could be pushed over easily by one Skitter, which is the main alien in the show. Or they could just jump over the thing. I mean, seriously, the zombies are weak compared to them. And also, there's about as many Skitters as there are zombies, so, it's pretty even. And then there's harnessed kids, which no one wants to fight. I mean, with the zombies, there are certain people who doesn't want to fight a certain walker because, it was like a relative or something, and, you don't want to hit them, or someone that they strangled and then, kind of had an awakening, and that was a Walking Dead reference. But honestly, like, they're so much harder. You don't want to shoot a kid, like, unless you're Pope. Pope is pretty awesome. And he would shoot kids. But he's still awesome. Yeah. Awesome. That was weird. Okay, back to the whole topic that was really random. And no, I'm not saying that it's awesome that he shoots kids. He doesn't. But he would. I'm sure. Pope is this guy. He's got awesome hair. Okay. Finally back. Alright, now back to the enemies. In The Walking Dead, the enemies are mindless. Or at least, sometimes they're mindless. I'll get to that point in a minute. But they're, like, totally just brainless. They can't, they can't strategically attack certain places, certain people. They can't go after the most dangerous enemy. Meanwhile, in Falling Skies, the Ishveni, which are the alien overlords that are controlling all of the Skitters and harnessed kids, are crazy freaking smart. I mean, honestly, they're like genius. You know, they know exactly who to attack, when to attack them, what to, you know, and they're also capable of bioengineering skitters, which is pretty crazy. Really crazy. They can just like have this pool of like oil, and then just like every couple seconds a skitter will just like crawl out like fully grown and stuff. It's really, really cool. It's awesome. And they blow one up too. Anyways, back to the zombies. They're so inconsistent. Sometimes they're mindless, sometimes they're smart. Like, you can never really tell what it's going to be. You know, sometimes there'll be, you know, a horde of zombies, and they'll be, you know, crowded around something like a ladder or a chain link fence or something like that. And they suddenly have the motor skill to climb up it. Meanwhile, they can't tell that something that was just living is now still living. They can't tell that, you know, you just cover yourself in zombie blood and bam, they have no clue that you were just trying to kill them, you know? I mean, like, honestly, you know, they have no concept of memory or anything, and it's just annoying. So inconsistent. There's never any, like, base. Like, you know, I would have liked it if maybe they were always mindless, or they always had some degree of motor skill, you know, but you never can tell. Ever. Yeah. Now, main characters in The Walking Dead, it's Rick, and in Falling Skies, it is Tom Mason. Tom Mason was a history professor before the invasion, and he is the second in command of a group called the 2nd Massachusetts Militia Regiment, or 2nd Mass for short. 2nd Mass. And he's really smart, he's a great fighter, and he is pretty compassionate. Meanwhile, you know, the main character with Rick, he's fairly smart. I mean, you know, he's not dumb, but he's not like a super genius. And he's pretty good fighter, like probably better than Tom is. I could say that. And he's super compassionate, like really, really compassionate, which can be clouding, you know, that can cloud your judgment sometimes. Meanwhile, Tom learns real quick that even though he's very, very into like saving his son and stuff, he knows where to draw the line, where it's not, so he doesn't go on like a suicide mission, you know. He knows what the line is very, very well, which is pretty important. And also, he's a pretty great motivational speaker. I mean, he is incredible with his speaking, you know, like Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King type speaking, you know, maybe a little JFK in there. But he's good, you know, and it definitely helps. Then one of my friend's arguments was that, well, Rick is better because his wife died, so like he has to fight. Something like that was a really strange argument, although I guess I could see where she was coming from a little bit. But Tom's wife died too, so bam, they're even there. That's not even an argument. And Tom's wife died without him even being able to be there, and like they had to find her weeks later. Was pretty sad. And also, one of his former friends abandoned her, so like it was a terrible, terrible way to, you know, lose Rebecca. And then, you know, she becomes an alien later, sort of. Not important right now. Now, let's move on to maybe allies. In The Walking Dead, anyone who is an ally is a human. I mean, you know, there's no, like, good zombies, because that would be weird. There's only bad zombies, because that's how it works. In Falling Skies, they have, obviously, humans, and then they have two allies that show up, I believe, in Season 3. Actually, no, they have 3 allies. Never mind. So, first, they have the Rebel Skitters, which is a group of the Skitters who has learned to fight the Ishveni alien control, and they've learned to, like, kind of fight their mind control harnesses, which are, like, super powerful, and they inject you with drugs and stuff, and, like, make you do as you were told by your Ishveni leader. And they are really cool. Like, they're kind of undercover agents almost, except very few people trust them. You know, they're the good guys, but most people don't realize it or don't believe it, you know. So it's kind of interesting, you know. I love Red Eye, by the way, who is the original leader of the Rebel Skitters. Hashtag Rebel Skitters. And he's awesome. Their second ally is the Volm. The Volm are a race of aliens who are capable of speaking English, unlike the Rebel Skitters and the next ally that I'm going to talk about. They have some pretty cool weapons and stuff, although I had some, you know, minor issues with some of their integration, but they were cool. And recently on another YouTube video that I did on a different channel that I'll probably link to it on this video, hopefully, I got a comment that was talking about the Volm and stuff, and, you know, so I really had to think about them, you know, because they're pretty important, even though they're not around all that much. But, you know, they're pretty big. So far, there's only been one named Volm that have died, and then a huge group of them. So, you know, they definitely have a quarrel with the Skitters. So they're not just, you know, I guess, the good Samaritans that they make themselves out to be, because they kind of act as though they're like, what's the word? Just a moment, I'm going to think of the word. Vigilantes. That's what I was thinking of. No, it wasn't. But something like that. You know, like, what is the word? Somebody in the comments tell me what word I'm thinking of, because I cannot think of it right now. Okay? I'm going to move on to the third ally. The third ally is the Dornia, which are the Skitters before they became Skitters. And they're pretty important. I mean, you know, they only come in, and I believe they come in the last episode of Season 4, and then they're kind of present in Season 5. And I need to correct myself there. It is present. There's only one of them left. And this is where that whole thing about Tom's wife becoming an alien, because whenever the Dornia want to talk to them, they always take the form of his wife, which leads to some pretty creepy scenes and stuff, considering the fact that Tom is basically kissing an alien. But still, you know, it's kind of cool that they're bringing her back in that way. So that's all I've got time for right now. If anyone has any questions in the comment section, please let me know. And I have come very close to my 15-minute marker, so I have to stop. This is KKW, out. Out. Out.